Hello and welcome to the Golden Gopher podcast. I am Corey Carver, also at Golden Gopher on Twitter, co-hosted with Dane Mosier at Daner on Twitter. We are here to get today with special guest Andrew Lanners. He is the owner of Premier Pinball and Amusement out of Maple Grove, correct, Andrew?
Yep.
And with Minnesota signee Jerome Williams. We'll jump right into it. How do you guys know each other?
Yeah. So first off, just thanks for having us on. It's a pleasure to be on. So I'm Andrew Lanners. I am the owner of Premier Pinball and Amusement out of Maple Grove. I'm also by day a teacher at Osseo Senior High School and a football coach as well. So that's kind of how I've gotten to know Jerome over the last 3 years as well. So
I got to meet Lanners. I think it was like my sophomore year when I met him for the first time. I was in my head coach's office. We had a little conversation. I don't really remember too much of it. This is like 2-3 years ago. But yeah, last 2-3 years we've been like working together with like football, or like we see each other at school and say what's up. So that's how I like got to know him. And,
yeah, I think not only have I gotten to know Jerome very well over the last 3 years, but also he also has brothers at the school. A lot of people, fun fact, don't know that Jerome has a twin brother, so I've gotten to know him very well through football in school, and then also a younger brother that is a sophomore in high school, Michael, as well. So I've gotten to know the family very well through academics and football, and now business, which is super exciting. Yeah, funny story. Like Jerome mentioned, the first time I met him, I think it was actually freshman year or maybe going into sophomore year summer. Our head coach, Coach Stockhouse at Osseo Senior High, had a bin of probably 300, 400 pairs of cleats. And I had been hearing all this talk about this big O-lineman tackle that everyone was talking about, but I had never met him before. And he was super quiet. So I went in and met him that day. And he was just sorting those cleats, working hard. And ever since then, we've kind of hit it off and gotten to know each other very well. Taking him on visits to the U, which has been an absolute blast. Just talking football in the hallways, workouts, etc. So it's been fun.
Awesome. Well, I know you guys have some special announcement for us. You want to jump right into that?
Yeah. So the big news here is we're super excited on behalf of Premier Pinball and Amusement to kind of have some groundbreaking news with Jerome that we will be signing him to an NIL deal effective immediately, which is awesome. This is the first year that athletes in the state of Minnesota can sign an NIL deal and be compensated for their images and promoting on social media, public appearances. So, to my knowledge, Jerome will be, I think the fourth in the state of Minnesota to sign the deal, just one of the first ever in the state, along with the first ever athlete at Osseo Senior High School to ever sign an NIL deal and get paid. So it's super exciting news. I couldn't be more excited and proud that he's the one that we're partnering with. We're looking at this deal as a partnership that we hope continues throughout his college career and hopefully even after. We think he has so much potential just, on the football field. I love who he is as a person in the community with kids and the youth. That's kind of what we're really focusing on with this partnership is not only being compensated, which is awesome for Jerome, but also working in the community and giving back and working with local kids that can hopefully be inspired by his story and kind of the bright future that he has ahead of him. Some news that we actually just found out today is that PPA is going to actually partner with the Grief Club of Minnesota down in Chanhassen, which is a free grief center for grieving youth and all the way up to teenagers and college kids for free. So we're going to bring Jerome down there in late May for a community event, about 10 to 20 kids, grilling, football and games. He'll be able to speak with the kids, sign autographs, and take pictures. So really just focusing on that giving back aspect is something that Jerome and I are super involved in and is super important to us. So
awesome. That sounds great. Jerome, question for you. Being that you're one of the first ever to sign an NIL deal in Minnesota, how does that feel for you?
Well, I think it's huge. Like Leonard said, it's like something that's just like recently started, like not like only in Minnesota, but like it's just became like a rule that like teenagers or college athletes can like use their image and like name and likeness to like partner up with people and like make money. So I think it's huge, and I'm like glad that it's like my first partnership is like with somebody I've already like known for a while now, and like he said, we both have like we're both doing this for like the community, and it's like really exciting because that's something that like I'm all about. And like as soon as he presented like the deal, I was like already on board. Like I liked what the whole deal was about. I liked what he's about, and like I'm just excited for it to get started.
Absolutely. So do Andrew, do you want to give a shameless, just give a plug out to your business a little bit more?
Yep, absolutely. So in a nutshell, Premier Pinball and Amusement, like we stated earlier, is a business located out of Maple Grove. This really started off as a hobby after college and kind of a side job that has turned into something much bigger, which now we get to do awesome things like this, and it's grown into so much more than just a business that makes money, I guess. So what we do is we buy, sell, rent, or transport anything that you would find in a at-home arcade. So it could be arcade games of all kinds, along with pinball machines, really anything that you can imagine. We do work with smaller arcades and businesses, along with parties on event rentals and things like that. So again, it's just something that started very small and then has grown pretty rapidly over the last few years. And I love being able to not only provide people with entertainment and memories that will last a lifetime for them and their friends and family, but also, a big push for our business is being able to give back and supporting the local community and youth. So
awesome. Yeah. If anyone's in the Maple Grove area, check that out. But this is a Gopher podcast. I want to ask you, Andrew, what's your Gopher ties?
Yeah. So absolutely. So just growing up, born and raised in the Minneapolis, Twin Cities area, I've actually been a huge Gopher fan my entire life. I was kind of thinking back earlier on how it all started, and the earliest that I can remember is I would say early elementary school, just riding the pickup truck Saturday mornings with Grandpa, going bird hunting, and he has WCCO pregame on of the old pregame shows and stuff like that. And I think that's what really hooked me back in the day, and it's just kind of grown ever since the, Marion Barber, Lawrence Maroney. That was kind of my childhood. So, yeah. All the stars that have kind of came through, Eric Decker, just everybody, over the last 10, 15, 20 years has been an absolute blast to watch. And now just being able to kind of be involved with Jerome's visits and, heavily watching the program myself, just the row the boat culture and everything that Coach Fleck, Coach Callahan is about is awesome. So I couldn't be more excited for Jerome that he's going to the University of Minnesota and staying local. All of us local coaches and staff that he's kind of worked with over the last few years are just super pumped for him. And I'm sure we'll be attending tons of games and practices and as much stuff as we can. So.
Well, if you ever want to tailgate beforehand, and Dane and I will gladly meet.
Not only tailgate, I'd love to make an appearance to your business or
absolutely.
Just, yeah.
The whole like entertainment thing with pinballs with the whole deal. That sounds like so much fun. I've got a young son myself now, and it seems like something that when I was younger, I'd love going to the Fuddruckers. I love going to I think it's Peter's Billiards, stuff like that, where we'd get stuff like that, play them in our basements.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're in the business of. Speaking of tailgating, me and Jerome and our head coach, we went to the Iowa game on a visit with Jerome this past fall. And Jerome, you want to tell him a little bit about that tailgate or what? How many chili experience?
That was it was really fun for me. It was my first tailgate ever. It was really cold that day too, so it was hilarious. I had 4 or 5 layers on. First time having chili too, and we were I forgot what it was, like an ice something.
We were in an ice house.
We were in an ice house. Yeah. So yeah, it was cool. I like chili. I need to get some more of that, but it was fun. Yeah.
Tell them how many bowls. Tell me how many bowls that you housed that day.
I think before the game I had 2, but after I had 3 more. It was pretty
good. Jerome, I'm curious. With your football background, I believe that you've said that you've only played for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
How did you get into football? For one, when did you find out that this could be a big thing for you in college and potentially afterwards?
I mostly grew up playing basketball. I never really played football until I got to Osseo. And it was the first week of school. One of the coaches on the team at the time, he was a freshman coach. He kept bothering me to come play football. And I'm not gonna lie, I was just kind of ignoring him mostly. For the first, because we started off, first game was the week before school. So at the point when I joined, they were already 4 games into the season. Okay. And I was oh, I'm not really doing anything right now, so I'll just come play. I gave it a try. I wasn't too high on it, but I was oh, I'll play, So played 4 games freshman year, and I started off playing defensive line because that was the easiest position to teach on the field. They didn't really tell me anything. It was just oh, they just taught me alignment, the basic stuff. So sophomore year, COVID year, I got moved up to varsity. We played 6 games that year, I think, because of COVID. Moved up to varsity. That's when I first started playing offensive line, and I played left tackle. I wasn't very good. I was always the guy getting picked on in the film sessions because they kept messing. So yeah, I wasn't very good. And then I remember after that sophomore season ended, I sat down with my head coach Stockhouse, and my position coach, Coach Johnson, and to just talk. We just had a good conversation, and I think that's really what kind of really opened my eyes and kind of see the reality of things and what I could be if I was willing to trust them and put in the work to get there. And we really just kind of just talked about my potential and what I could be if I was willing to just put my trust in them and just listen to them. And all worked out in the end, obviously. So I think that's where I really kind of realized that football could be my thing.
Yeah. So once you realized that, what changed for you when you found out that 247 was going to give you a 4-star ranking? Because that's pretty significant. We heard about you through Ryan Burns, saying there's this kid and there's this mean O-lineman in Osseo, Jerome Williams. He's Minnesota is one of the first to notice him, and then it seemed like it went pretty fast. It's oh crap, he's a 4-star now.
Yeah.
Then he started getting all these offers, and Gopher fans are wondering, okay, what kind of recruiting battle is this going to be like? A kid that's new to football, how's that going to change his mentality? How's it going to go out through the recruiting process? So I'm curious, along with Corey, once you found out that you were a 4-star, how did that change your mentality on the field, and how did it change your mentality in the recruiting process?
It was huge. I think, like, I was like waiting because, like, I think I was like a high 3-star for the entire like junior season,
Yeah.
and then after I went to a camp, me and like Greg Johnson went to a camp in the summer, and then we both got bumped up a couple ratings. So that's when I got to 4th, and that kind of just like that was like my ultimate goal, because like I saw where I was at. I started off around like an 86. The end of the junior year, I got up to an 88, so like a high 3-star. And then like I just wanted to see that improvement, and I just, like I said, like I improved and they bumped me up. But for me, recruiting wise, I kind of already just like knew I wanted to be at Minnesota. Like, didn't really matter what school reached out to me. Like, a lot of people asked me, like, "Oh, if this school offered you, would you have committed there instead?" And I'm like, "Nah, I really don't care about like the school. I kind of just like want to be at a school that like is the right fit for me. And like my family's here. I've lived here my whole life. The culture here at University of Minnesota and like the coaching staff also played like a big part of like my decision. So I feel like it would have been my decision like 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. So, like, tell us a little bit more about like the teams that recruited you. You got any stories, any recruiting stories that you want to tell us outside of Minnesota, even Minnesota stories?
My first visit was at the U of M actually, and I think it was like my first college game ever, first like football game other than a high school game. So I didn't really know what to expect. It was like my first like clean, like fresh new experience. And I think they played Bowling Green. That's what they played, Bowling Green, and they lost.
That's a tough.
I didn't know what to
one.
think, so I didn't think anything of it. I didn't really think anything of it because like that's my first game. So I didn't even really know how good these guys are. I didn't know anybody on the team. Like, it was just like fresh new experience. So they played Bowling Green, and then the following week I went to Iowa State, and that's when I got my first offer. I think they played like Kansas or something. They beat them pretty badly, and like that was like that whole experience kind of like really opened my eyes because like that was my first offer, and then like the stadium was like I remember a lot of people told me about like the stadium is like insane and like the energy in the stadium, everything. So like it was really live that day, and 4-hour drive road trip was fun. And then I went to Minnesota a couple of times. I think I went to three or so games. They just kept wanting me to come back, like touch base with the coaches, see how they've been doing, see how I've been doing. And then those were the only schools. When I went to South Dakota State for a visit as well, and I went to NDSU for a visit. I don't really have any stories about there though. I guess South Dakota State was like cool because I got to like talk to one of the players who graduated from Osseo in 2020. So it was like good to like touch base with him after like not seeing him for a long time. But I didn't really go on any other visits. I planned on going to like Illinois, Nebraska. Like it was like November, I think, but I didn't end up going. So those were like the only places I visited.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Andrew, I'm curious, what was your role as a coach and mentor and teacher to Jerome throughout the recruiting process? Like when he first started getting interest from the likes of Minnesota, Iowa State, the Dakotas, all the way up to National Signing Day, when it was reported that other schools were interested, other Big Ten schools. So you kind of saw the growth from Jerome as a player. What was it like you as a mentor to him throughout that process?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Jerome would probably agree with this, that football's just really put him on a platform and kind of helped him get out of his shell just as not only an athlete, but, a role model in the school, a brother, a teammate, I think, too, and just seeing kind of where he's came from when I first met him as a freshman, sophomore to where he is now, coaching different special education teams in the school and just really being someone that some of the younger guys can look up to. I don't know without football if Jerome would have gotten there. So I think football has been a huge help in that aspect of him, for him. So, but mentor-wise, also, I don't want to take too much credit. I think this whole process has just been so big for our community and school. And I think Jerome and lots of others would probably agree with that, that just seeing someone with this story and background and everything like that kind of raise up to the top of a national attention, really. Not only state attention, but national ESPN attention has been something that is so big for our school and community. And I think so many people, again, I think Jerome would agree with this, have played a huge factor into whether it's football, whether it's stuff at home, academics. There's been, I could name so many people from our community and school that have pitched in on all these different aspects, getting through COVID, getting through things at home, getting through ups and downs on the football field, getting through the crazy recruiting process. I think it's just been a huge team effort, and I'm just a very small piece of that, which has been awesome for me as a new educator and coach to be able to see that. But I also have been around the OSU community for such a long time, and to just see this is so big for not only the kids in our school right now, but for many years to come, is just so big. So I think our head coach, Coach Stockhouse, has been one of, if not the biggest factor in helping out Jerome, kind of whether it's rides or academics, things at home, recruiting. He's really been a huge piece of that. Getting through COVID, it was just tough for all students, obviously, and just helping out Jerome academically, communicating, whatever it may be. I think there's a lot of different teachers and coaches that have helped with that aspect. And then also one of our football coaches, Coach Johnson, has been just a huge mentor and football-wise for Jerome on the offensive line. Coach Johnson sent many different athletes Division I on the O-line at Osseo and Edina over the last 20 years. So seeing what he's done with Jerome, from, like Jerome said, being that guy that kind of gets poked at and picked on a little bit in the film room as a sophomore, to really Coach Johnson and Coach Stockhouse, showing examples of Jerome, like, to other kids of this is what we need every single play right here, has been super cool. So in a nutshell, I guess I've been a small factor. I've been able to take him on visits, work with his family, his mom, his brothers, talking small talk on football. And during the season, we had a good time as well, just on the field. So that's kind of been my role, but it's been awesome. It's super excited to be able to support him when he gets to the University of Minnesota, and just fortunate that he's kind of let me in and been, being able to help out with whatever, I've been able to the last couple of years. So.
Absolutely. Jerome, I'm going to ask you a little bit about the photo shoot you guys had when you had the signing. I'm going to ask you a couple, we're going to go through all this. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that went on, any cool photos that you had to take. Obviously, Andrew, these are going to be on the website, right? For anyone
listening. So we'll use these photos all over social media, the website, news channels, and other podcasts that will be on as well. So go ahead, Jerome. You can speak.
Got there. Me and Jake got there. Met his family. We met Coach Lanner's family, some people he was working with in this whole process. I got to talk to them. A lot of them were Gopher fans, been Gopher fans for a long time. So it was cool to kind of just have a conversation with them. We took a lot of pictures in a couple different vehicles. We did a little TV, radio setup. That was fun. I had a good time. This is something I haven't done before. And I thought the cars were cool. Legs were a little long.
These are some cool pictures.
Yeah. The Corvette, that's my personal favorite.
Oh, this one you're in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was fun,
that's
like
nice.
getting dressed up, looking fancy. So yeah, I appreciated that. Me and Jake had a good time.
Yeah, so along with Jerome, just a quick little background. Jacob Meisner, who's a two-time state champion wrestler from Osseo, who's a freshman currently at Arizona State, is coming on board as well. And Jerome had never met him, so that was fun for them to be together. Two Osseo kids, which is a lot of fun for the community and just myself being able to work with them in two different sports. So it was down at the Chanhassen Autoplex, super cool facility, tons of awesome cars and people. So we were super fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to take all these photos and get all this content for, your guys' podcast and other things that this story will be on. So
Absolutely. And for those who are watching, we'll put a little plug out there for his business, but
appreciate it.
absolutely. I was just gonna ask Jerome, is there any players through the recruiting process that you really stuck with? Roommates? Who are you gonna be living with next year? Who's your guy next year going into the
Roommates.
current players either too?
Okay. Roommates, I don't really have an idea with, but like as an older like mentor, I'm thinking Ariante Ursi. My official visit, he was like kind of like my chaperone almost. Like he was with my family. We talked a lot. I text him here and there. At the games, we go into like the locker rooms. Like the recruits will go back into locker rooms. We'll have like a little conversation. But yeah, that's my guy. I talked to John Michael Schmitz a lot too. At my camp, at the camp that I went to early June, he was kind of like talking to me, like kind of mentoring me, making sure I was doing the drills the right way. So yeah, that was cool. There's some other like high schoolers that I got close with during the process, like Greg Johnson. He's probably who I talked to the most. Like all like the Gopher commits, and probably like the person who I talked to the most outside of my school. We talk football. We talk about the offensive line, a little bit of everything. Me and Jackson Howard also we got close to the recruiting process, and me and him were like on a lot of like the exclusive visits, like basketball games, some winter practices. So yeah, the recruiting process kind of like helped me like meet a lot of guys on the team and like other like top recruits in the state.
So, have you been watching John Michael Schmitz in the Senior Bowl combine now? Is that something you aspire to do someday? You hope you see yourself there?
Yeah,
exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I made sure to go like look at his Senior Bowl, look at like his reps that he was doing like versus D lineman. Look at his like combine numbers, that type of thing. Or like I'll see videos of him training at like training conferences in like Minnesota. So yeah, like whenever I have time, I kind of just like sit back, kind of like watching film almost, just like see what I can learn, that type of thing.
Absolutely. Has the recent success of Gophers putting O linemen in the NFL, is that contributed to you coming to Minnesota, or is that something that you really looked into? You know, the success that Callahan has putting O linemen into the NFL now.
Oh yeah, I would say it's intriguing for sure. Like the success that they've been having. Like last year, they were like the top graded offensive line in like college football. That interested me, and like seeing all these guys like, oh, I watched this guy at practice 2 weeks ago. Now he's like at the draft, like putting on a show for like all the NFL scouts and on like national television. So yeah, that impacted like my decision a little bit. But yeah, it's fun to see and it's like exciting to see.
Yeah, us as fans, we have an enormously high opinion of Coach Callahan.
Yeah.
And from a recruit, we'd love to hear kind of what he was like communicating with you. I believe also Reese Tripp is an in-state offensive lineman, Greg Johnson. This is, in my lifetime, the most impressive online class that the Gophers have
Just
ever
in
signed.
state. just in
Yeah.
state class too.
And that's backed up by recruiting rankings, backed up by film. Even you mentioned John Michael Schmitz. I remember he was originally a Western Michigan
Yeah.
commit when Fleck came over, and he was a low 3-star recruit. So
Yeah.
I'm imagining what you 4-star guys plus Reese Tripp, who's a mammoth of a human.
He's big.
Wonder how you guys are. So tell us a little bit about Coach Callahan. What's he like as a coach? What's he's like as a recruiter?
I like him. He's like a real funny person. I think I met him for the first time, the Bowling Green visit. But yeah, at first it was a little awkward because like Lander said, I like takes a while for me to get out of my shell. So like we were like trying to talk and like in my head I'm like laughing, but like I really didn't have much to say, you know. He asked me a lot of questions about like football, like my personal life, like family, that type of thing. But yeah, I was just like laughing. We were all just like laughing. But yeah, I like him as a person. I like him as a like recruiter. He kind of just like make sure that like me and like the other guys stay in touch. We reach out to the guys like out of state, like Philip and Derek. So like he kind of like makes sure like there's a little family there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So coming for this next season for your freshman year, what are your goals and expectations for yourself as a true freshman? And what would you say the goals and expectations are for the other 4 freshman linemen coming with you?
Expectations for myself. I kind of just want to see how good I can get in that first year, like how much I can improve. Whether that's like learning like a completely like a whole new offense, or like getting better in the weight room. I kind of just like seeing how much I want to grow. I don't really expect to play that first year, and I'm fine with that. I just want to get better. That's the whole thing for me. And then, especially for the other guys, I'm really excited to see what Greg can do. I want to see if he can like see the field next year, start whatever that is. I think he's really good. I like watching him play. That's my guy.
So what position do they have you playing or projected in at Minnesota?
For me, mostly they just talk about me playing center. I've never like really played center. I don't mind it though.
Okay.
Center and guard mostly. I'm a little shorter than like most like Big Ten tackles. But yeah, that's what I would be mostly playing. I think they have like the other guys in like the regular positions, but Greg, I think he'll be playing like guard or whatever. So yeah, that's cool. Reese will probably play tackle. He's really big. So yeah.
Awesome. Any expectations or goals that you want to set for just your whole future going through your whole Gopher career? You got anything you really want to meet?
I want to play like a little early, like the end goal, like ultimate goal is also obviously to like play, but like I want to see if I could like play like year 2, year 3, that type of thing. I want to be like a all Big Ten guy by the time I like leave, or be like one of the best guys in my position, whether that's like in the Big Ten or in the country. Kind of just like want to have like my name out there and like proving that like I'm legit and I can like, I don't know. I also want to be like one of those guys like who could play like different positions, like center, guard, tackle. I want to be able to play all 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Give
yourself some versatility.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get, Big Ten honors, usually you see yourself, especially in the O-line, the Big Ten's really known for the O-line development and putting guys into the NFL. So if you see yourself on that list, it's a pretty good indication you're going to see yourself playing at the next level. Or have a good chance at it. So that's a good expectation and goal to set. Dane, do you guys want to talk a little bit about the football season, the past year, 2023, or 2022-2023 season? Dane, what do you think about that season?
I enjoy as a Gopher fan having 9 wins, with some people being disappointed by that. As Andrew can probably attest to, 9 wins for Gopher football is pretty significant because Corey, you two, like we grew up through the Tim Brewster era where bowl eligibility was, a hit or a miss. PJ Fleck came in, or I'm sorry, Coach Phil came in, stabilized the program, and then PJ Fleck has got it to that next level. So I really thought it was a great year. Illinois really surprised me. I didn't think I thought that Illinois loss was a bad one. Seen with the NFL draft now, you're going to see a top 10 pick from Illinois. I thought it was a great season. I think this upcoming season, Jerome, you've probably seen the schedule. Andrew too. We got some big teams coming in here. I'm expecting an 8-win season. I think if you guys can win 8 games this year, win a bowl game. PJ Fleck has never lost a bowl game as a Gopher football coach, by the way. If you guys are able to get 8 wins, possibly 9 wins, I think that'd be fantastic. The Big Ten, one of the 2 best premier conferences in college football. So that's my expectation. What about for you, Andrew, and for you, Jerome? What do you guys think for this upcoming Gopher football year?
Go ahead, Jerome.
Like you said, there's like a lot of big games. I think we play Ohio State this year, do we?
Yep.
Ohio State.
You play North Carolina at North Carolina.
Yeah, those are some
one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah, really interesting to see. I want to see like how we compete versus like those type of teams. Like you said, 8 wins, 9 wins. That would be great. Win a bowl game. I'm just really excited. Like that's a really interesting schedule. I really like when I first saw it drop. I was like, oh, okay, we got some tough teams. Like, and I like the competition. So I think it's huge.
Yeah, I think just to add on to that, I'm super excited to see kind of where this program is at, go against some of the top talent coaching programs in the country. Definitely think we're capable of competing and winning most of those ball games. Super excited about Ethan at quarterback. Love some of the new coaching hires that we brought in. D-line coach, super pumped about him. Just the energy and recruiting that he's already bringing to the program. Just the transfers in general, super pumped about the running back that we got in from Western Michigan and some of the young talent that we haven't really been able to see just because we've had so many veterans in the program the last few years. So just kind of hoping that and ready for some of these new guys to step up to the plate. So, and then also someone that we've played at Osseo, Jerome's played, is Cody Lindenberg at Anoka. Just kind of seeing what he did last year at the inside linebacker position.
He's going to be a beast.
Yeah. Just seeing him get his opportunity last year, I can't wait to see what he does next year. I think he's just going to be an absolute stud. So I think we got a lot of great young pieces. Tyler Newbin coming back is huge at safety too. So.
Yep. Yeah, you love. I think they've done really good at the transfer portals. In PJ Fleck's tenure, obviously that's a new thing in college football. Guys coming and going, but it looks like they've really hit on a lot of the guys in the past. Obviously, Benjamin St. Juste, they put him in the NFL. Who am I thinking of? The cornerback, the nickel corner in the 2019 season, Dan.
Chris Williamson from Florida.
Yeah.
I think he was a 5th, 6th round pick.
New York Giants.
So they've done pretty good with even now this last year linebacker. I can't think of his name.
Seelig.
What's that?
Seelig from Western Michigan.
No.
Mariano.
No. Why can't I think of it?
A transfer linebacker coming in.
Yeah, who was he played for us 2 years ago. No. From
Jack Gibbons.
Jack Gibbons.
In the NFL with Tennessee.
I couldn't think. I mean, he even was playing in the NFL. So it's nice what the Gophers have been doing in the transfer portal. Obviously, recruiting high schoolers is what you have to do, and that's what PJ Fleck has said he's going to do. Guys like Jerome are the future of the program. Obviously, getting guys from the state of Minnesota is big. Having a class of 6 or 7 in-state guys, that's a really great thing, and getting the walk-ons in the area. Jerome, what do you think of having to play USC and UCLA now? In your time as a Gopher, you'll see them coming into the conference.
Yeah.
Starting after this season.
When I saw that they would like be joining the Big Ten or whatever, I was like, oh, like I kind of always wonder how we like match up versus those teams, because like we play like more like Midwestern teams as of right now, and like you got a team coming from over there. I think it's cool. It was like a Twitter headline. I was like, oh, they're gonna move, and I was always like intrigued by it. So
yeah, I mean, you could possibly be playing a game in LA.
Yeah.
At the Coliseum or the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
2 historic venues, so that'd be really cool for you as a player. But other than that, do you guys have anything?
The cameras on.
I think I would like to close and just knowing from Jerome and Andrew, just what does this NIL deal mean for the Osseo community? I know it's in Maple Grove, but as we know, Osseo Maple Grove combined at the hip through youth levels, communities. I'd just like to know through your school. You mentioned it a little bit before. What does this really mean for the community up there and for your family too, Jerome? Because I think you're the 4th or the 5th guy to sign an NIL deal. It's extremely significant. So we'd like to know what that encompasses for you too.
Jerome, you can start.
Okay. I really like the idea of it because I'm a big community person. I was always like help out at like youth camps, and like kids would come talk to me. The other day, even I took a basketball game with a kid. I think he was like 9 years old. I mean, I took a picture with the kid at one of my basketball games. It was cool to like talk to him and like know that like the youth kids like look up to me, and like they're like excited to see what I can be. And I think that like the whole thing like giving back to the youth and like the community and like doing stuff for them, I think that's cool. That's something I was like wanted to do as a kid, and I think like this like whole partnership was like it hits big on that type of stuff. So
definitely,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just going off that, like I kind of stated earlier, I think it's just so big, not only for Jerome being, the 4th, 5th person ever in the state of Minnesota as a high schooler to sign that NIL deal and kind of grow that aspect of things for future athletes in the state of Minnesota, but also just really showing, whether it's kids that are in our school at Osseo Senior High right now or kids 10 years down the road of, hey, Jerome Williams was a 4-star recruit that only started playing freshman year, not much of a background in football. Maybe I can do it too. Now he's signing an NIL deal. Who knows what this will lead into? Maybe more NIL deals down the road with bigger businesses, et cetera, et cetera. So I think just being that role model, whether it's business-wise, football-wise, in the community-wise, it's just so many different aspects that are a win-win situation for Jerome and I and the community in this situation. So I think everyone involved is just super excited to see what kind of plays out with it. So
yeah, I mean, you guys are technically like trailblazers for the whole thing. You're the first ones kind of pioneering it, and who knows what it'll come of in the future. So it's just history in the making. Really
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, we're super excited to be a part of it, and like I said earlier, we hope to continue this partnership, throughout his entire career at the University of Minnesota, and hopefully as the business grows and as his playing career kind of grows and more people learn about the story or who he is as a person or a football player, that it just keeps growing for the better. So
absolutely. You guys got anything else you'd like to say, Dane?
I'd just like to thank both of you guys for taking the time out of your day to join us on our podcast. I know the expectations that are put on the high schoolers with homework still. with your basketball season coming up, or with your section games coming up here, that you're able to fit in 45 minutes with us. So thank you so much, Jerome.
Yeah.
And Andrew,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you too. As a business owner and a teacher and a coach, as a coach myself, giving up time like that is a big deal. So thank you as well. And we're really excited to kind of tell your story through our podcast, through our Twitter account. Hopefully that grows into something larger, but we're honored to be able to interview you guys and to hear your story and broadcast it to other people so they can see and hear about this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us on. It's a pleasure to be on here, and thanks for having Jerome on as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. And for my first podcast, yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you guys.
You did
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to the Golden Gopher podcast, and see you later.